this training video for the Church of St. Mary's Extraordinary Ministers of the Eucharist. Upon arriving at church, the first thing you should do is go to the sacristy to sign in. This will tell the other EMs that you are serving at the Mass. The next step is preparing the credence table. The credence table is located in the right side of the sanctuary, behind the presider's chair. The items to place on the credence table can be found in one cabinet for the most part in the sacristy. For each Mass, we'll need either 3 or 5 matching chalices to hold the precious blood. We'll also need 3 or 5 purificators. And we'll need 4 small matching patens to hold the body of Christ, as well as 1 large paten to hold the body of Christ. The large paten is used by the presider. 1 small pitcher, bowl, and a hand towel will be needed by the priest when he washes his hands. You'll also need an altar cloth on the credence table shelf. The cloth should match the color of the season. When preparing the bread and wine for communion, first someone should check the tabernacle to see how many consecrated hosts are already in it. Next, a cruet should be filled with wine from the refrigerator. The cruet should have enough wine in it so that all of the faithful can receive the blood of Christ, but not too much where there will be a lot of extra blood of Christ at the end of Mass. Two full bags of hosts, each containing 100 hosts, should be placed into the large paten, and 1 large host should be placed on top. That large paten and the wine cruet should be brought to the church entrance, along with the container of extra hosts and the head counter. During the Mass, usually during the homily, one of the ministers should count the number of attendees in the church, and should then subtract or add hosts to that large paten as needed. Be sure to add a few extra hosts to the large paten for those bringing communion to the homebound. After the sign of peace, all EMs should approach the altar, clean their hands, and distribute the sacred blood to the chalices. In general, the last 2 EMs on the sign-in list in the sacristy should bring communion to the balcony and others within the church that cannot approach the altar. At the sign of peace, all EMs should head towards the sanctuary, bowing towards the altar before they actually enter the sanctuary, and then walking to the credence table where they can clean their hands. After their hands have been cleaned, the empty vessels can be brought over to the altar. One of the EMs carrying the chalices should distribute among the chalices the precious blood. The presider of the Mass will distribute the body of Christ into the remaining patens. If there is a chalice heading towards the balcony and throughout the church, that chalice should have less precious blood than the remaining chalices. Once the wine cruet has been emptied, it can be returned to the credence table. All EMs should then be standing in 2 lines, preparing to receive Holy Communion themselves. After the EMs have received Holy Communion themselves, They should walk to the altar and take the patens and head to their spots. Those with the precious blood should also head to their spots. The EM with the body of Christ should make eye contact with the faithful as they approach, and then say the words, "the body of Christ," placing the body into the hands or into the mouth of the recipient. The EM with the blood of Christ should do the same, handing the cup to the recipient, and then receiving it back and cleaning the spot with a purificator, and then turning the cup so that the next recipient will not use the same spot. EMs that run out of the body of Christ should return their empty vessel to the credence table. An EM should then go to the tabernacle and remove the ciborium of Blessed Sacrament, bringing it over to the credence table, so that EMs with remaining body of Christ can place that remaining Eucharist into the ciborium. After the Eucharist is combined into that ciborium, it should be returned to the tabernacle. EMs with precious blood remaining should consume that precious blood at the credence table. All EMs should then return to their pews, remembering to bow towards the altar as they exit the sanctuary. After Mass, the plastic container of hosts and the head counter should be returned to the cabinet in the sacristy. All of the vessels used during the Mass from the credence table should be washed with soap in the sacrarium, which is the sink on the right side, dried and returned. Wet towels should be placed on the hooks near the refrigerator, and dry and clean cloths should be placed in the bottom drawer. After the 11 a.m. Mass, the altar cloth should be rehung in the closet, and the tabernacle key should be placed back in the cabinet, which is near the sink. Being an EM is a great team effort, so everyone will help complete all of these tasks. Thank you for watching this Extraordinary Minister of the Eucharist training video for the Church of St. Mary in Clinton Heights, New York.